Today's basketball shoe review, we got the Paul George 6s in. A lot of improvements from the past Paul George shoes, and I like these ones. Let's get into it today. What's good, everyone? I'm Zach here with Tamsters Kicks, and we are talking about the Paul George 6s today. This was actually an All-Star Weekend release. Supposed to be like a Valentine's Day release with the Paul George 6, but I really want to get my hands on these because I've heard some very good things about them, and I have not liked the Paul Georges in the past. Paul George 1s and 2s were fine, but I think they have really missed with the 3, 4, and 5, but these 6s I'm super excited for today. Before we get into them, though, you guys know what to do. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button for your boy. Tons of more videos coming out, and we just posted some more. Posting more always, but today, Paul George 6s. Details on the box, you can see kind of that Cupid shooting the arrow through the basketball, as well as the cutout heart you can do on the box, all with nodes to Valentine's Day. Again, the PG6, these retail at $120. Paul George models have been a nice affordable model, which has been good, but ever since the horrendous sizing with the PG4s, I've stayed away from them. But I've heard very good things about these ones, and they look pretty nice. We're gonna start off first with the traction unit, and the traction is looking pretty good, feeling grippy throughout the outsole, and also has that kind of PG logo on there as well. And it's kind of just a basic rubber. There's not very deep grooves all around the shoe. I'm kind of honestly confused about the traction because there's not much to it for someone like Paul George, who moves around a lot and is a primarily pretty good scorer around the hoop, on the perimeter, stuff like that. So I'm kind of confused at that, but when I put it on the court, it does feel really nice, really grippy. I probably wouldn't recommend these for outdoor use. We used to be able to hoop with the Paul Georges outdoors, but there's just not a lot of traction at all on these, so I wouldn't recommend that. Next up is the cushion. We got the full-length Nike React in these instead of the Zoom Air that was in the PG5s. And some people were saying the PG5s gave some Kobe 9 vibes. If you guys have seen any of my videos, I love Kobe 9. It's my favorite basketball shoe of all time. And I didn't see that, and these ones, they did change it up, which is nice because I didn't like how that setup was, and these ones are mad comfy. Actually really love the comfiness in these ones. That full length is super nice in these. I'm confused why they did go away from the Zoom Air. Maybe it was a Paul George preference, but that full length React, it doesn't work like Zoom Air at all, but the comfiness definitely gives a little bit of Zoom Air vibes. Next up is the materials. We have a design specifically for the Valentine's Day with the pretty deep stitched Nike swoosh, as well as some butterflies, different colors on the upper outsole as well, and I do love the colorway on these ones. Another fire colorway, no All-Star Weekend, but still a sick color. And as well as the materials, you have the tight knit on the toe box, and then as you move towards around kind of like that quarter panel around to the back, it's a little looser, which I really liked for the fit and support because it didn't keep you too tight and locked in, but it did provide a nice breathability with the shoe. For a budget shoe, that's really nice. The fit, the tongue contributes a lot to that. It is not breathable at all. Honestly, one of the worst tongues I have put on with a shoe. It is not breathable. It is soft though. It is nice and flexible, so that does help with keeping everything strapped in once you lace up, but I did not like the tongue at all. And another thing is this back part. There's a nice Achilles cushion. It's flexible, it's nice, so I do like that. I didn't even talk about the fit, but actually fit-wise, it's been so bad. The PG4s were horrible. You had to go up like a size and a half, like it was crazy. These ones, you can get away with the true to size. Maybe look for a half size up. They shouldn't be too hard to try on in stores. I went a half size up, and they're pretty good, so they did fix the sizing problem on the Paul Georges. With support, they're not too restrictive. You sit in pretty good. For a budget shoe, it gets the job done, honestly, with the support. Laces help keep you strapped in. The little cutouts are supposed to help a little bit with the overall fit and design, but it didn't do too much with the support for me. I would just say they're kind of a nice, overall average supporting basketball shoe. They don't overly protect you, don't overly keep you locked in, but they're also not like unstable, so I did like it. Traction, 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. It's honestly not very good. It is super grippy, but I don't think it's gonna last very long, so I wouldn't recommend the traction on these. Cushion, I give a 7.5. I just didn't prefer the cushion. I'll always want the Zoom Air, so that's what I would be preferring over this setup. Materials, 8 out of 10 for a budget shoe. They're pretty good. I liked them just because of that knit and the difference between, I like to be kind of strapped in side to side up here with a wider forefoot, and then have a little more breathability here and keeping me locked in the ankle. So they did a pretty good job of that. Fit 7.5. I mean, it's a lot better than PG4s, I'll have to say, but overall with the tongue and the breathability, the fit is, it's just kind of mid. It just gets the job done, really. And this kind of goes to the same with the support. It's just budget. Really, the shoe kind of just screams budget in a couple different aspects, but the tongue does help with the support just because it's a little flexible, but also this Achilles being soft does help, but nothing too crazy with support. That's it for the Paul George 6s today, and it might seem like I didn't really like these, but it is a great budget shoe. If you guys are looking for something to just kind of hoop in, maybe like a rotation shoe, $120 for a pretty good setup on the Paul George. I would recommend them. For most people trying to get another shoe to hoop in, I run through like 6-7 shoes a week. I always am rotating shoes, so this is one at the price I would recommend to get, but not an everyday staple Kyrie, Kobe, something like that. But I did like them, and that is it for the Paul Georges today. Thank you guys for checking it out. Leave a big like, comment if you guys would hoop in these ones, and we'll see you on the next one.